What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dre Mac Show. About to go ahead and get it started. So let's get into it.
Now, without further ado, here is your host, Dre Mack.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Drake Mac Podcast Show. Coming to you live from Speaker Radio, coming to you live right now from StreamYard. Stream live in live right now on Facebook, on YouTube. So shout out to everybody who's watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. Shout out with the new intro. It took me a minute to get this done. That's why it took me into Mountain Time, 5 o'clock, to be able to get this thing cracking. But of course, you know, I'm gonna get it cracking. So again, shout out to everybody who's watching right now on the particular podcast. Today, I'm actually going to talk about, because I today actually was supposed to be the interview with Ryan Dirks. Ryan Dirks couldn't be able to do it today, so we're going to push that interview back to Friday. So Friday, around 3 o'clock, we're going to have the interview with Ryan Dirks, who's a Republican who is running for the 5th district in Kansas City. But today I'm going to talk about something that actually was really just brought to my attention just watching a video, and it really just hit me. The effects, and when I mean effect, I mean AFFECT, effect of toxic masculinity. Now, everybody was, you know, I even had my boy inbox me, my boy Morris was like, hey, do you mean effect, EFFECT, or AFFECT? I said, I want to do the AFFECT version of effect, and I'm gonna show you why that I'm using this particular version of effect when I'm talking about toxic masculinity, because I'm using it in the verb aspect, which is have an effect on, make a difference to, basically influence. And when you look at the way toxic masculinity is in the Black community, and I'm just using myself as an example because I'm a Black man and I see this daily. We don't know sometimes who we are, and I'm gonna tell you why sometimes we don't know who we are. And shout out to everybody who's popping in. Shout out to my brother Rico, my homegirl Rakayla. You know, I got something for y'all for the new baby. You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure you name him Dre, and y'all be cool on that. My homegirl Tidra, my homegirl Tisha, what's up with it? Rico said, me without the popcorn. And my homegirl, shalom to everyone. So what I mean by the effect, and my homegirl Sharice in there, everybody, what's happening? Keep continuing to hit your comments. Make sure that you guys are comment, liking, and sharing this video also, because what I want to do is do it throughout the time. When you post something, you put something down here, you could be able to see it right here on the actual screen. So I want to make sure that I'm getting you guys in there to what's going on. But I was watching this video, right? I was watching this video with Mike Tyson and Boosie, right? So, Mike Tyson has been through a lot in his life. So he was talking to Boosie. Now, Boosie can talk all he wants to about how hard he is and different things like that. But when it comes to Mike Tyson, ain't nobody gonna be harder than Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson kept telling Boosie, this is what I kept hearing. And you might not like so and so and this, that, and the other or whatever, but sometimes you have to listen to people to be able to catch context clues. And this will work out very well for black men when it comes to black women, to sisters, just period. You know what I'm saying? To all women. And something Mike said is that we don't know who we are as black men because we have been beaten up so much as a race, is that even when a black man has a chance to raise another black man, because he's been beaten, and we're talking about mentally, we're not even just talking about the physical part. The physical part does come into play, but mentally we have been beaten and knocked down so much that our mental capacity to love is shot. And I didn't understand that. I understood this because I've been through therapy. And one thing that Mike was saying was that you have to go through therapy. You have to talk to someone. It's not being weak. You're not soft. You're not the B word to go get help. And this is what I realized about myself. And I'm going to put myself in this predicament. Then I'm going to go back to what Mike was talking to Boosie about. But growing up, I had to be a certain type of black man. And I couldn't, like, literally, if I was having too much fun, it was showing almost the signs of weakness. If we, if I didn't walk with my head held high, and I'm still a little guy, you know what I mean? Back then I was a real little guy, so I had to try to be tough, and I had to, walk and move like almost like I'm the baddest man on the planet, and I could not be myself. And in turn, I couldn't love another black man, not in a homosexual type of thought. I'm talking about actually showing another black man love because I was so caught up into trying to be tough. And a lot of people don't really understand that in the black community, especially in the hood, we have been taught to be tough, but not to love rightfully another black man as he sees himself. So the influence goes to another black man who is being raised by one black man who is going through mental uh, uh, mental issues about himself. Understand where I'm coming at, y'all. He's going through mental issues about himself. So when he sees another black man, he's only been taught what he's been taught. You better not cry. You better not be no punk. And I've seen this coming from black women talking to their boys. You better not be, you know what I'm saying, cussing them out and talking to them like they a grown man. I'm talking about little black boys. So that little black boy grows up and he's now the influence of toxic masculinity, the effect, the influence now to another black man, there's another black child that's being raised. And that is a sign of weakness. And I'm going to show you why it's a sign of weakness, because a lot of these black dudes go around, I'm telling you this, and this is something that Mike Tyson said, and it caught me because it makes so much sense. These dudes are the hardest dudes in the world. Will kill another black man, but afraid to let a black woman love them. Ooh, I'm telling you, Mike was in his bag on this one. They were so caught up in trying to be tough and trying to dominate another person because he didn't understand how toxic the masculinity was, the effect, the AFFECT, the influence that he had on other people. And it's gone through our music scene. And if you look at rap music, you had to be a certain type of way. Remember, and I'm going back in the day where at first, you know, in rap music, you just there to have fun. And then the gangster rap scene came in, and you had to be the hardest dude on the planet. So you had a lot to do. Hell, MC Hammer turned around from Hammer Pants to talking around, you know what I'm saying, with Lokes on and Dickies on, and he coming through hard. I mean, from Oakland, so he was never soft. Let's get it right. You know, people from Oakland, they ain't soft. So let's get that together. But his whole persona, because he had to create this persona, the effect, again, the influence of toxic masculinity moved over into our black men where we had to be something that we're truly not. Not saying that we're not tough. Don't get me wrong on that. Because some of the toughest dudes in the world wear suits and ties. They ain't walking around with their pants and their booty crack showing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they think is tough. We're walking around with straps and guns and all of that, thinking that's hard. That's not hard. Ain't nothing tough or hard, nothing about that. What it is a sign of weakness. And what America has done is use propaganda to push the effect of toxic masculinity, the AFFECT, the effect, the influence of toxic masculinity to our young boys. So that's why when we see someone gay, we had the nerves to talk about them. But some of them are the toughest dudes on the planet. Honest to God's truth. There's some of them dudes is the toughest dude on the planet. But see, you allow toxic masculinity to affect you, and then now all of a sudden you're down in this particular person who could probably bust your head wide open. But then y'all the same dudes who toughen on the streets, go in jail, and that's your new boyfriend. But y'all don't want me to say these type of things because then it opens up your mind and makes you change. I'm telling you right now, when you look at the way that men are in the black community, if I'm smarter than you, somebody who is trying to be who they're not is going to talk about me, trying to down me, trying to tell me that I'm nothing. Say, oh, you think you all that, you think you this, you think you that. No, I'm trying to be myself, and you would not allow me to be myself. See, that's the thing. This is the key to the effect of toxic masculinity, is that it allows us to stay in a certain spot in America. It doesn't allow us to be who we truly are. We cannot walk around and call each other kings and all of this with a peasant mentality. And someone who walks around like a barbarian, you know what I'm saying, has a peasant mentality because all he knows is destruction. A Berber or barbarian is a destructor. They don't build. There's nothing to build with someone who's constantly destroying. And do you wonder why the things that goes on in the black community with crime and black men killing another black man, we can't even tell each other we love us. And a lot of that goes into, like I said, the way that we were raised, because the effect of all this time of Jim Crow and all this stuff, all of this had an effect on us. The EFFECT had an effect on us. So we had to learn, either we were in church or we was out in the streets. Some of our parents was in church. Some of our parents was out in the streets that was doing certain things to be able to survive. And sometimes you had two ways that you survive. Either you become part of the church and try to survive through that way, you believing in God and this, that, and the other. But then you are also influenced to be a certain type of way based on the way that they was teaching the Bible that was contrary to where the Bible actually was supposed to be. Because a lot of churches would tell you that that old saying, spare the rod, if you spare the rod, say the child. Or spare the rod, spoil the child. But we're not understanding the way that we're supposed to be teaching our children also. It ain't just about beat. And a lot of us who grew up in societies and families that were super Christians. We talking about going to church on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You going to church all week. You know what I mean? A lot of them were very strict. And in that strict environment, we were learned to be tough on the other. We were actually learned how to fear. That's what we were actually taught. We were taught how to fear and not to be yourself. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. You had to be able to fear what was going on if you stepped outside of what God actually wanted you to do. So we had a necessary fear because we fear like if I step out of line, I'm gonna be beat. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna be, so far in trouble, you know what I mean? That I can't do what I want to do. Then in turn, you start having regrets. As Black men, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that every family, everybody's different. But the majority of times where you see the type of people that we're growing, you either have the super strict, Bible toting family, or you had the super hood family. You know what I mean? Where only thing you knew was the streets. So we got Black men that are going through and not knowing how to understand how to, for one, love themselves, because we're afraid to talk. And if you, for any size of those strikes, grew up in a super strict Christian family, or if you grew up in a super strict hood family where you had to do hood stuff, or you bet not snitch, you bet not say nothing, then you are going to have some type of issue when it comes to certain people. And what I mean by this is that we can say all day that we love each other. Oh, I got love for the homies and I got love for this, but you'll turn around and kill another Black man without a shadow of a doubt. But you'll be also the same dude who's afraid to get hurt by a woman. You're afraid to let a Black woman love you. Now, let me tell you about this. This is something that Mike was saying. He said, I was so caught up in myself, in the image, because I was a robot. It was fight, go home. And then when I go home, I couldn't decompress because I had to get ready to fight again. Man. So he said, I didn't understand how to love my wife. I didn't understand how to love my girlfriend, the people that was around me. I couldn't even really love the person that I was fighting against because I created a mode inside of my head. So I was like an animal to this guy or to the person that I was fighting. So, and when he was saying this, I seen the look on Boosie's face, because Boosie is the influence, the AFFECT of this. Because we walk around and again, you become a robot in the hood. Or you become a robot in church, and something that Morris puts to church was toxic. There's a lot of toxic masculinity that goes on in the church. While we're talking about the hood, a lot of toxic masculinity goes on in the church. You better not be no sissy, or you better be back there with your little tambourine. You better not be up here in the front, and then be the first the first people that want to talk about gay people, but have the music and ministry right in your right up front. You see what I mean? So when someone is dealing with certain things, and I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say this right now, that we had some. I'm not gonna say any names, but of course, we all know what happened on Facebook about 3 days ago, and someone was quote unquote exposed. And the thing is that, people passed around videos and pictures and all this stuff, but did anyone sit back and say, you know what, I'm going to pray for this man's mental health. I'm going to pray for this person's mental health, because obviously it wasn't meant for everybody to know that particular person's business. But in the same essence, we never stepped back and said, I hope that man is looking at looking at this, but I'm praying for his mental health. I'm gonna pray for his mental health, because at the end of the day, what if this hurt someone that he loved and wasn't able to get to that particular point where he's able to share this, or she was able to share this with them. If then he turns around and he commits suicide, we're not thinking about this is stuff that we go through, because it's the AFFECT effect, the effect, the influence of this toxic situation, where we need people who's going to be here for us and be able to, excuse me, point us in the right direction to speak. And I'm not going to say any names on who I'm talking about, but what I'm saying is, No, did anybody sit back and say, I'm gonna just pray for his mental health? I'm gonna reach out to him and say, you know what? No matter what, I love you. Just real friends. I love you. I don't care what you're going through. I love you. I don't care what they expose. I love you because you're my friend. You're someone that I've been knowing for years. Yeah, this is maybe what happened, but it's all good because I love you. We're so quick to throw people away. And this cancel culture is really ridiculous. And I'm gonna tell you why this cancel culture is really ridiculous, because it plays into toxicity. You talk about toxic masculinity, there's toxic femininity, there's a toxic world around us where we are not able to love one another like we should love ourselves. And if you think I'm playing this the last commandment that the Most High Yeshua gave to the disciples, love your neighbor as you love yourself, is the simplest commandment. But no, we don't do that because we're so easy to throw people away. When they don't agree with us, we throw them away. If I'm a black Trump supporter, I'm gonna throw you away because you don't believe what I believe, so I don't need you around me anyway. Now I'm gonna still love that brother. Just because we don't see eye to eye as a politician from politicians, don't mean that I can't love you. Just because you wear a different color in the hood that I do, and we might have beef that goes back to stupid toxic masculinity, that don't mean that I can't love you and show a sign of unity. Just because you're a black man and you're going through right now, and you know you need money, and I'm not mad at you, and you might want to rob me or anything. That doesn't mean I love you. I need to point you into the right direction so you can eat, so we can all eat. And that's at the end of the day what we need. So we don't have to worry about that. But the way we was taught to, and he said that's how they are taught to love. And I'm gonna post that up there. That's how they were taught to love. And that's the thing that actually needs to change. See, we think love is toxic. Just think about this. Think about this, because Sharice made this point. I want to point something out. People think when you get in a relationship, if y'all not arguing and fighting and then turn around and making love afterwards, that y'all not in love with each other. You don't have to sit up here and yell and shout and talk crazy and all that to a woman or to a man to show love. That's ridiculous. If you really honestly sit and think about it for just a second, it's absolutely ridiculous to think that because I'm in a toxic relationship, this is who I need to be with because this is how we show love. And again, it goes to the effect of toxic masculinity, because then it goes to the woman. You remove remove the man from the equation. Now the woman is starting to show signs of the same toxic masculinity. Now it's toxic femininity. And now she's going after the black man and saying the black man ain't this, the black man is that. She raised up a little boy. Little boy don't do what she tells you. See, you're just like your daddy. See, your daddy wasn't this, your daddy wasn't that, and you ain't gonna be nothing. I'm telling you, the cycle continues. This is how the cycle works. Someone doesn't agree with your lifestyle or the way that you are, we shut them out. If someone doesn't agree with the way that you operate, we shut them out. If someone doesn't look at the same things that you look at, we shut them out. Instead of bringing them in and say, you know what, we might not see this the same way, but that's okay. You're still my brother. I'm going to still love you. I'm going to still be there for you. I just don't agree with this here, but I still love you. And you're right. Black men have been beaten down so much that love is fear. And again, what Mike said about we'll kill our own brother, but be afraid to let a woman break our heart. That hit me. That hit me a lot. Because we're so tough. Men are so tough that we walk around, you know what I'm saying? We talk all this, come around there and make faces and all this stuff, bro, all this. And you're afraid to let somebody love you. And you're afraid to let love hurt you one day so you could be able to grow. See, the one thing about hurt is that it allows you to grow. Because that's the biggest thing about pain. Because you figure out where the pain is at, and do you figure out how to self-heal yourself? Don't believe me? Ever scraped your knee? When you scrape your knee, what does the blood do? Self-heals. And that's how the healing process is. It gives you a shelter for just a moment. We might pick at it and all that, and it continues to shelter you and shelter that wound until it's fully healed. That's how it should be with us. We as men, as Black men, should not look at another brother and see his obvious deficiencies or the obvious things that we think that he shouldn't be. And look at that brother like, oh, look at him. He got his pants around his ankles. Oh, look at him. He think he hard. Oh, look at him. He out here switching. He wearing dresses. So what? He Black first. He's a man or whoever he identifies with. But I'm gonna show him love. You might walk around, you might think you just super duper hard. It don't matter. I gotta love you. We are losing so many young Black men and just Black men, period, to the fact that we're just afraid of love. We're so afraid of love. We're so afraid of, and I'm not talking about in love. I'm talking about looking at someone as you see yourself. Looking at someone as you see yourself. We walk around homeless people every day. We look at them and like, you need to get yourself together. It's nothing soft about love. If love was a weakness, honestly, everybody wouldn't have it. If love was so much of a weakness, then why do we all have it? Because we know technically it's a strength. Mr. Reese, but Black men have been taught that showing emotions are a sign of weakness. Can't be happy because it's a sign of. They can't be in love because it could be weakness for someone else to hurt them. And the crazy part about that is that I went through that. I went through it so I could talk about it. I went through it because I thought being around all these women was going to make me feel better because I didn't love myself. Messing with this girl and she's telling me this, but messing with this girl, and I'm not exclusive to anyone. I'm just saying, I'm just messing around. That was okay in my mind. I thought it was okay because I thought if I didn't show them how I really feel, they couldn't hurt me. Now, I could go out and I could see another Black man, and if he look at me sideways, just on and crack it. But this woman, nah. I can't let her show my weakness. I can't let the Black man show my weakness either. And then we cower at the police. I can't show this woman that I really truly love her and truly am in love with her because everybody might think we soft or think I'm soft. They be like, oh, you whipped. Oh, we forgot about that. We forgot about that old 90s. Oh, you look at you whip. You whip. You know what I'm saying? That girl got you wrapped around her finger. This is my father talking to me. This is how I can identify what was going on and what Mike Tyson was actually telling Boosie. Man, there's nothing wrong with showing someone love and loving someone. Just nothing wrong with that. Not everyone wants something from you. Ladies, let me tell you something. I'm going to keep it 100 and funky with you. A man can love you just as a sister. He ain't got to have anything from you. He could just love you. Just love you. That's it. Just love you. As a sister that you are, ain't got to have nothing. Ain't got to be all in your drawers. Ain't got to do just love. Because y'all have been affected, AFFEC, influenced to think Black men don't love you. Black men don't care. Black men this. Black men that. We have been taught that. Y'all been influenced to think that way. Black man don't care. Black man won't. And you hear this, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Black man, he won't protect this woman because Black man don't love himself. So how can he protect me? He can't even protect himself. This is why we need to break the cycle. This is the reason why I'm talking about this, because the cycle continues. The cycle continues because we don't believe that we love ourselves enough to protect you. That's what you've been taught. But today, we're going to start talking about mental health and how we can be able to break the cycle of these mental health issues to say that no, Black woman, we can love you. We can protect you. And as I'm going to protect you, I'm also going to protect my brother because I'm my brother's keeper. That's why you can say what you want about the Bible. I always would say that the Bible has always been taught wrong, and all you got to do is just read it and teach it for you and learn for yourself. But the Bible has been taught wrong in church. That's why I like the fact that Morris said that church is toxic, because when you have someone who is teaching you these things, they're not putting it into a perspective where you'll be able to understand that we have been taught wrong. The Bible is right. We just teach it the wrong way. Because if someone says, I need to love you as I love myself, then and if we really took that and really put it in our mind, spiritual, I'm not talking about religion. I'm just talking about basic human teaching. I love you. I can treat you how I treat myself. So that means if you're hungry and I got it, you got it. It's simple. Simple. So incredibly simple. And I'm not talking about being stupid in love. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about people taking advantage of you and you just, well, I love them, so I'm going to just continue to let them do that. That's not what I'm talking about. That's idiotic and stupid. Off tops. What I'm talking about, and I'm really trying to bring home is that if I start seeing people as I see myself, then we would decrease the level of toxicity in our community within ourselves. Number two, I will start being able to love and protect my people the way I should love and protect my people. And you're right, Morris. You have unlearned people and agenda-driven people teaching people. You do. You absolutely do. You have people who have an agenda or whatever or to preach a gospel that sounds good, but you're not teaching the guy. You're preaching, but you're not teaching. That's the thing. You can preach all you want to. You can turn around and float into space if you want to. But if you're not teaching people, you're leading people astray. That's why people don't believe in church, and a lot of people are starting to turn away from the church, because if you go there and it's a show and you're not really being taught, I shouldn't have to wait till Wednesday Bible study to be taught the Bible when the preacher is supposed to be teaching the Bible on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Friday or whatever day. But that's not my point. It's not about the Bible, just about human beings teaching other human beings that I can love you, especially Black men. If Black men got back to loving Black men, think about this for a second, and I'm gonna let y'all and I'm gonna wrap this up. If Black men got back to loving Black men again, loving them as their brother. I see you. You're my brother. You're my uncle. You big. You the big homie. But I respect you and I love you enough that I won't let nothing not let nothing hurt and come harm to you, because I know you're not gonna let hurt and harm come to me. And I start loving you in that sense. That I start being here for you. I can sit down and I can have a conversation with you, and we might not see eye to eye, but that's okay because you're my brother. I love you. I can look at your sexuality and, hey, that's your sexuality, but at the end of the day, brother, I love you. When we get back to that, then we can turn around and look at our sisters, because we already got back to the point where we're healing each other. Then we're looking at our sisters. I can't let nothing happen to you. Because if I'm not going to let nothing happen to my brother, I damn sure ain't going to let nothing happen to you. I got you. And I can love you the proper way, in the way that you don't have to worry about nothing, because I'm here for you. When we get back to that, watch the shift happens. And this is just something to think about. And that's really all I got to say about that. So we got to get back to looking at someone, stop worried about, being jealous of someone because they're doing something. You might not be doing that at that time. They might be. I can look at different podcasts in Kansas City, and I don't have no problem with none of the podcasters in Kansas City. I want to hook up with all the podcasters I can to promote their stuff because I'm not ego driven. I do what I do because I know the people who are going to watch someone who's going to take something from that and learn something from that. But am I mad at the next person who's doing something? No, I'm congratulating them. Hey, let's hook up. We could be a part of each other's shows because that's how you grow. That's how you're not showing your ego. And some men just, they ego so big, they just think you just got to be the man, but you don't. I was listening to Dr. Umar and Lord Jamar and Rod Digger today. And Lord Jamar is just telling the story about his father-in-law and how he got a school started from nothing and how he went to this and got this and this, and the school has been running. But Dr. Umar, and I respect Dr. Umar. I don't subscribe to everything he says, but I respect him because he's a black man, and I'm loving my black, and I love my black men, especially some who's trying to do their best to get something done for black people. I'm not mad at that. But Lord Jamar is trying to just teach him, hey, have you thought about doing this? And have you thought about doing that? And he got so angry and started talking about, ain't nobody in the college community doing what I'm doing. Ain't nobody building schools and doing this. You ain't got to do that. I'm sitting there like, whoa, he got angry quick because he let his ego control the knowledge that Lord Jamar is just trying to put on him. That's it. I have a conversation with my boy Joshua Gant, with my boy Roger Suggs. We're talking politics, everything. We have our own opinions about everything, and that's okay. One thing I learned about therapy, while I was in therapy, I did, 5 months of therapy. It's okay. That's the first thing I learned. This phrase, it's okay. Your past is okay. Your present, that's okay. It's what it is. Do I let it affect me mentally? That's the thing. Do I allow things in my life to affect me where I'm able to look at certain things and be okay with them? So what? You cheated in your past. So what? It's okay. How do you learn and say, well, how did I get to this point? That's the biggest thing. How did I get to this? How did I get to this point? And in the fact of getting to this point, how am I able to internally change without driving myself crazy, beating myself down on things that is now the past? How do I get to that point? That's one thing that I learned. And a lot of black men, we beat ourselves up because we have been taught that we have to work harder than white people. We have to show them that we're greater than white people. We got to show this society that I can do the same things that I have. Just what about just waking up the next morning? I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna keep my head held high, but I'm gonna just be myself, and I'm okay with being myself, and not allowing anyone to tell me who I am and am not, because that's okay, because this is who I am, and I love myself enough to be comfortable about who I am. That's the thing. Who am I? Do I love myself? And if I do love myself, can I love my brother and my sisters just the way that I love myself? This is your man Dre Mack. You know I love y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in with me, staying with me. Shout out to everybody who's been watching on YouTube and on Facebook. Make sure if you want to check out the YouTube channel, it is the Dre Mack Podcast Show on YouTube. The Dre Mack Actually, it's the Dre Mack Show on YouTube. Yeah, the Dre Mack Show on YouTube. Or if you search the Dre Mack Podcast Show, you'll be able to find the YouTube channel there. This video is going up on YouTube. This video is actually being shared on Facebook and on the Dre Mack Show Facebook page. So if you're new to the channel, you're new to this podcast, make sure you are checking me out on the Dre Mack Show Facebook page. Also, I love y'all. Peace, shalom to everyone. I'm about to let my new intro take me out.